We're at about 10 minutes. I'm curious if we've been spending a lot of time talking about the last 4 months and also about the last, 15 years. What's in the headlights for you? What are you excited about?
I think obviously this clarity is leaning forward in the future. There's a few things. We have obviously built an organization that's focused really around the relationship that our clients, healthcare organizations, have with their members, and that's been centered on communications, right? Which obviously are critical about understanding their benefits, educating them, and keeping them happy and healthy over time. And for us, there's a couple things. We're going to continue to invest in our product roadmap. So we talk about year end, and there's a lot of velocity around specific communications that happen that are geared towards open enrollment, but there are many more communications that happen throughout the calendar year. And all of those are really important touch points that you or I receive about our healthcare throughout the year. And, I know as a healthcare consumer that, I still focus on those. When I get them, it's my interaction point out with my healthcare, aside from actually going to see my provider and taking care of myself. So it helps me understand what's changing, where I'm at, how do I utilize these benefits? And so, as the market evolves, as more regulatory changes come, we're going to continue to invest to create more and more of those communications as they come up for our plans, so they can actually work with a single company and feel like they have a platform that hits all of those things. They have visibility into each one of them. They know when they're going out. You start to get a much more coordinated and orchestrated communication campaign to Drew, the member, or Steve, the member. And then within those, where we're really leaning in on just the core strength of the organization is, we have become a real engagement partner for our health plans. And, we've talked a lot about open enrollment today. And we talked about the complexities with it because there is so much volume of touch points that go out during that time period. Well, if we've got all of these requirements and capabilities down of what's going to allow our clients to navigate a successful period, well, then we can start to lean in a little bit more on the data that's coming from our plans with it, the data that we can take from other parties, and we can start to really tune those communications to be more than just check the box and say, yep, I got out the ID card for 1/1 check. I got out the 1095B for March check. Oh, there was a claim. I got the EOB out. That's critical. It's very important. But how do you extend beyond that and sort of take advantage of, I like to call it paid advertising? Our clients are already, they're creating the materials, they're paying for shipping in a lot of cases if it's physical, not digital. And, why not take as much advantage to try to engage that member a little bit further? So, when I look into the future and I see, us continue to invest to perfect all the things that are required to be a successful partner that we've talked about today, taking advantage and leveraging the communications that are part of Clarity's history, it's a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity to engage and activate members on behalf of the health plan. And that could be to get them in a digital relationship. It could get them more engaged with their healthcare. It could get them better adherence around their medication. Any one of those things, Drew, that everyone is now hearing in the space. And I think a lot of our traditional customers who own the responsibility of these communications, they hear in meetings within their organizations saying, this is our key objective. We want to really become, an accelerant to have those folks be champions within the organization to say, hey, I got an idea. Not only have we got all this down and we've perfected being able to get materials out in a timely, secure, high quality way, but we have a vehicle that you can ride on to really start, moving the needle on some of these strategic objectives. I really feel like we're going to be at the intersection point of, what was communications over here and engagement over here, and saying they're one and the same. You're scored off of how did that experience go. We've been hearing it for years. If the ID card's late, that's a nightmare. the ID card materials are wrong. That's a nightmare. It's the first experience. And it is. It's how people think about the brand in their wallet of the health plan that they're paying for their coverage. Well, take it one step further. Don't just say got there on time and the information was right. The information was actually much more impactful in my experience. I mean, as a consumer, I look for that in everything I do in my day-to-day life. And that's when I decide who's good and who isn't. And I think the healthcare organization has a huge opportunity in front of them. So that's where we're really guiding our ship, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fortunate place that I get to spend most of my time with you on, also, of this idea that you mentioned the 80 million cards and the letters that accompanied those cards that went out over the course of this year. It's funny because I put my hat on of having been around a lot of marketers in my life, and their light bulb turns on when you said, hold on, you talk to the healthcare consumer at 80 million a clip. And if I could insert a message into some of that touch point that you have with them, and by the way, people are always opening the envelope with the ID card in it, or the EOB, or whatever that is. It's interesting because it takes the 15 years of, we have practiced and we've tweaked and we've gained proficiency and then mastery of what I think you referred to as the table stakes of correspondence. And in a way, I think Clarity has found itself saying, now that we've got mastery there, I think we can raise our own ceiling a little bit. And I think we can start talking to you about, if you're trying to get whatever it is, in-home assessments or flu shots or portal registrations, to start sliding those in with that correspondence that we know is extremely high quality and always on time. It's an exciting kind of chapter we're going into.
It truly is, and obviously not driving by all the things that are critical about getting those things done and out, but enhancing them now. And like you said, once we've got that mastery down, and we're always continuing to invest in it and work it, because every situation, every year is unique in some ways, just like we talked about this past year. You know, let's make sure that we're leveraging the technology and the data to make our plans as successful as possible and take advantage of what's going on. So that's exactly where we're heading.
Yep. Well, like we started off saying, it's an important time of year to reflect, take stock, use the fresh wins or the fresh wounds to say, how are we going to do this better next year? So I appreciate you sort of capturing so much. We're nothing if not punctual, 11:59, right on the button in my time zone. So thank you very much, and we appreciate it. And I know for folks that might have questions, we're pretty easy to access, but we'll make sure that we've got kind of emails, phone numbers, etc., that people can reach out to us.
Great. Thanks a lot, Drew. Appreciate everybody attending.
You bet. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Take care.